Content on info at millenniumnews24.com. Download the Millennium News 24 app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Stay tuned with Millennium TV and Millennium News 24 for the latest updates.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Jineea Butler, here on Millennium News 24 with our latest piece of the new American perspective of On the Group. So we're starting now and we're on the group. For those of you who are just joining us, On the Group is a new concept that we built in. If you know about groups, it's about bringing our culture, bringing our stuff together, having a conversation with one another, one that's just not, talking about the news and the politics, but talking about what's going on with our community. But today, I just feel like I still got to talk about a lot of stuff that we've got going on across America. We haven't gotten it together yet in America, and I want to keep us in tune and up to date. So Wednesday at 1, tune in to myself and my co-host A.B. Butler for the Butler Gang in the G-Check and the New American Perspective, telling you and updating you in your own context, our own words of what is happening in the United States of America. And if you want us to come to your country and G-Check you, if you want us to come to your party and G-Check you, if you want us to come wherever you are and G-Check you, we are definitely open and taking orders and events right now. So hit me, DM me at Jineea Butler on Instagram or here on Millennium News 24. Tell us where you want us to be. We're ready to be out in the streets. Psych, not with this snow. So where are you in the United States right now? The big thing now is put it in the comment section, right? So put it in the comment section and tell me where you are in the United States right now. So first, did you get in? I think Hanukkah is starting this week coming, right? And also, everybody who went and, Muslims who went to their Friday service. I went to service this morning online, of course, because it's very snowy out here. So where are you? Are you in Chicago? Are you in New York? New York, we just got snowed in. Something terrible. Our first snow. Now, it is a very, very pretty snow. Okay. So I'm not even going to trip about the snow. I'm not a snow person. I'm not a cold person. That's why Vegas will be seeing us pretty soon. But I'm not any of that. And what I am, though, is I am warm right now and out of the snow. So shout out to everybody out there who is shoveling snow, and shout out to everybody who's taking care of their families and doing their things. So let's get right into it. On the group. So when I worked on Rikers Island, back in 2000, I believe, to 2003. Okay, very young. I was one of the youngest counselors of addiction treatment on Rikers Island, and we had group 3 times a day. And this was what made me a good public speaker, right? We had groups 3 times a day, and basically we talked about everything. And it was so empowering, even to myself as a young person at the time, going into Rikers Island with people facing 25 to 30 years, and all of this stuff. So I was on the group. Okay. I was on the group too. So I'm shouting out to everybody on the group. Here we are. And everybody come in. Let's circle around and let's talk about it. And I would love for you to tell me about some issues that you have, because I am a well-versed individual and I know a lot of things because I've been a sponge over the lifetime. And I push everybody to be a sponge. Let's start there on the group. How do you feel about learning, right? What is it that you go through when you're learning something, right? I find that people are insecure about letting people know that they don't know something. But I came from the school of, Any question is a great question, right? And no question is a bad question. Now, some people, now I tell you my little story about Diddy when Puff Daddy told me that's not a good question. Oh, I was so insulted from a man of his caliber. And that's when I kind of gave him the look. That's not a good question. I come from the school of every question is a good question. Now, what we do as people, we try to know everything, right? We try to, oh, I know that, but we don't, right? Some of us didn't even graduate high school and we say that we know everything. Some of us can't read or write really, very well, but you're still going to say that you know that, right? No, we have to stop that tactic, okay? It's okay not to learn something. Not to know something. When you ask, okay, now you know. So don't be scared to learn, okay? We have to get back into listening and hearing. And we have to get back into not telling people that we can do something that we can't do. Now, look, we can learn anything, right? And anything is possible. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is stop acting like you know everything when you don't. Okay? Know what you know. A lot of people say that they're a jack of all trades, expert at none, right? Because you're the jack of all trades and everything like that. Well, in my lifetime, what I've done is I've been a student and I ask questions. Anytime that I run into somebody, if it's a plumber, how does that work? If it's a lawyer, what are you supposed to do? If it's an oil, I'm going into the oil business now. I'm learning the oil business. And I'm not scared to be the lowest man on the totem pole learning something. Are you? What do you do when you don't know something? Do the best thing that you're supposed to do is you're supposed to say, I don't know. Let me find out that information, right? That's what you're supposed to say. But people say, oh, I know that. I know that. And then you dig a little deeper and it's like, you don't know. Why did you even go through that to expose yourself and say that you know? So it's something deeper on the inside of us when we feel insecure because we don't know something, right? We don't feel like we're part of it. Listen, anytime I'm around experts in their field, I let the expert be the expert, right? And then when I don't know something, it is okay. So I'm sharing that with the group that it is okay not to know something. Okay. And that I'm sharing that with our community because our community is going through something to where they feel as though if they don't know something, it makes them less of a person. Well, what we told you about was going to school because now what's happening is everything is being automated, correct? Everything that we're doing, everything that we're going through is being automated. Okay, which is a bad thing for certain people because now what kind of jobs are you going to have if everything is being automated? So telephone operators automated. There's a person that sounds like a regular person that's AI that knows how to talk to you and things of that nature. So that's going into automation. There's so many jobs that are automated. So what kind of job can you have? Now, what we have in our community that is great is the fact that we are entrepreneurs and we have been entrepreneurs way before everybody else. We've been thinking about businesses and way to make money. Oh, I'm gonna sell these t-shirts. Oh, I'm gonna get this business. I'm gonna get that business. We got to get into that. We've got to figure out what we need to sell in order to make money in our communities, right? And so let's look at how many times that we spend our money outside of our community. Now, a lot of people say, oh, well, if there were good stuff in our community, I would spend money on that. Use a lie, because first of all, not only in your community have these corporations come and take over the process of we've got the Home Depots, we got the Costco's, we've got all these chain stores in our community, and we don't even own them. And part of that reason why we don't own them, or we don't know happening, because we don't go to the community groups. We don't go there, right? So we just let everything go past our head. We're waiting for somebody to give something to us. And I'm here to tell you that 2025 2026, can't believe we're here. 2026 is the year of the great urban reset. We are resetting ourselves in 2026, and there's no questions asked. You don't ask questions about anything else. Now, don't ask questions about the reset. And now we are going to give you your blueprint on how to get right in 2026 and beyond, because there's so many things that we have to focus on. We have to focus on our health. Let's start with our health, right? Our health, our health, our health. Where are you at? Do you have diabetes? Do you have cancer? Do you have high blood pressure? These are all hypertension. These are all fibroids. These are all things that affect the Black community. So now we've got to think about what we're doing to combat that, right? What we're doing. How are we not getting cancer? How are we not getting diabetes? How are we maintaining these things if we already had them? First, you need insurance. New American Insurance. Go to www.newamericanlife.hip-hop. And that's .hip-hop as the end game, because we're looking for the urban reset folks that are ready to change their lives. Are you ready to change your life? First thing, health. So what do you have? Now, December 31st, the American Care Act, the Obamacare, whatever you want to call it, is set to expire. So how does that affect you? Were you a person that took advantage of these tax credits, and now the Congress doesn't know what it's going to do? They're going to allow your premiums to double and triple. Are you one of those people, right? Or do you have Medicaid, and is Medicaid working for you? And can you get your right doctors? Can you do it? What do your kids have? What do you have? Are you going to see the doctor? Because a lot of times we wait till it's too late. We wait till we have these kidney stones. We wait till we have all this ridiculous stuff going on with us. And then we want the doctor to save us, when we should be eating right, eating fruits, eating greens, eating all the things that we need to eat. So my question to you on our first agenda on the urban reset: do you eat to live, or do you live to eat? Now, that's a big statement, correct? Shout out to Rob Swartz and our Korean. I'll bring Rob on one day to talk about, make sure you remind me to bring Rob Swartz on from Who Mag and talk about our Korean experience, when the person asked him, do you live to eat, or do you eat to live? Now, what does that mean? That means, are you living and thinking about food all day long, engorging on the beautiful foods? Because now there's some good foods out here, right? Everybody can gorge a little. Everybody can have a little self-indulgence, right? But do you eat to live, or do you live to eat? Right? So eating to live is about giving your body the necessary that needs for it to function properly at all times. So do you live to eat? And do you because now the meat out here, the meat that we're getting, I don't know about what we're getting out here as far as the meat and the chicken. Everything's got steroids, and we heard the Campbell Soup guy saying they're making they're printing their meat and putting it in the Campbell Soup, and we're all still saying we're going to eat that. They already told us that canned foods are no good, but we are those who keep the canned foods forever, because on one of them days when we got to go into the bomb shelter, what we will have is canned food. Okay, that's what we will have. But whether it is expired, do you look at that? Do you eat to live, or do you live to eat? Now, I think one time in my life, I probably ate to live. I mean, excuse me, live to eat, because I wanted to, have good things. I was going on, dates with many men, and many men that would take me out on dates, and I want to go here, I want to go there, I want to go everywhere, and I ate. Okay, I was never a really bad eater. Shout out to my mom and dad who, gave us fruits instead of candy. Like, I don't like cake. Reason why I don't like cake is we weren't allowed to have a lot of sweets. So think about what you're giving your kids, right? You are the one that's dictating to your kids what is going to happen. Okay, so think about how we're moving in that direction. And so we're going to take a break really quick. We're going to come back with more of the urban reset of 2026 here on Millennium News 24, and we will be right back. And we are back here on the Millennium News 24 with On the Group. We're on the group, everybody. And again, that means gather around. Let's talk about it. Let's think about it. Let's think about where we're going, what we're doing, and who and what we're doing it for. Trying to get into my computer here. That something was going on a little crazy. So anyway, so we're on the group. And so we're talking about our health, and we're talking about everything going on health-wise for us, okay? So again, what are you giving your kids? What kind of food are you feeding your kids? Are you feeding them the sugar cereals? Are you feeding them things with sugar in it? Are you feeding them something where their teeth are not going to fall out? Are you feeding them the daily so they can be functional in school? Because you got to understand that what we're feeding our kids, what we're feeding ourselves is how our output. Do you have energy? Or are you just a burst of energy? Or are you just, on a sugar high all day? Are you on coffee all day? Where are you? Okay. Where are you with this? Where are you 2025 going into 2026? Now, everybody starts talking about, the New Year's resolution and what they doing for the new year. Well, you should be doing it now. Don't wait for the new year to begin to start to make moves. Make those moves right now. Okay? Start making those moves. Start thinking yourself out and start thinking about how you are moving from here on out, right? So we know that our health is important, okay? What else is important? Remember, we're on the group. So I need you to tune in and tap in and tell me, what else do we need to focus on in our lives? If we're resetting our lives, what else do we need to focus on? Let's talk a little bit about the relationships that are going on. 2026. How many of us are getting married in 2026? Is marriage an option for you and your significant other? Now, there's a lot of people that baby mamas, baby daddies, and I remember when people started calling each other baby mama. I remember on 111 and Lenox Avenue, I was walking to the train. It was back in the day, and I was going to the 2 train on 111 and Lenox Avenue, and a guy walked up to me. He said, "You look so good. You could be my baby mama." Oh my God, I was sick to my stomach. What do you mean I could be your baby's mama? I'm a wife. Now, some people may have a different viewpoint there, right? And that's okay. That's fine. But I believe that when we don't look to really take the time to build our families, when we don't do that, okay, I believe that we are handicapping ourselves and our children. Right now, some people are used to that, right? Because they grew up in a single family home. So they don't even know what a two-parent home looks like, right? It's true. They don't even know what a two-parent home looks like, but that's okay. Now, there's some people that have tried it. Some people that have mimicked what they think they are, and they have failed at it because people want kids. When I was growing up, the young girls that had kids, they wanted love, and they wanted this unconditional love that they could get from their kids. So they had kids, or they wanted to keep the man that they were with. Okay. So now what I'm saying to you is that we have to change what we're doing. We have to all be on the same page when it comes to what it is that we are doing and how it is that we are moving forward. Now, again, I'm liking some of what these guys are coming out, and they're taking care of their children. Okay. They're taking care of their children. So that's a wonderful thing. Shout out to it, because I came from the school of men were not taking care of their children and women were left to be single mothers. Now, a friend of mine who's going to be a part of this great urban reset, Paul Stone, wrote a book called 1971. And he says that in 1971, a lot of people got screwed out of America, out of the America and the American dream that they were facing. And they said that he said that the black people got screwed because we got welfare. And we thought that welfare was going to be a point of action for ourselves. Right now, don't get me wrong. The majority of people on welfare are white, Caucasian Americans. Okay. So this is not to say that the black community, everybody, it's a large portion of the small group of black people that are on welfare, but the majority of folks on welfare are white Americans. Let me be clear about that. Okay. But now I'm focused on what we're doing with ours. I'm not really focused on what they're doing with theirs, because they take care of themselves. Now we have to look and take care of ourselves, right? And so what I'm saying is, they said that we got screwed 1971 by, now you have a lot of single mothers who the men said, I'm just going to do it to them and leave them, right? They did it to them, they left them, and we had a lot of single mothers and a lot of kids who only had their mother in their lives. Some never met their father. Okay. Some guys, those guys split. Some people don't even know they had kids, because this was the way of the time. But now this generation of fathers, I want us to give them a super round of applause, because this generation of fathers has been fathering their children. And I think that it's making a difference in the children that have both of their parents. Now, what we're doing in the black community, which I think that we need to come to an open understanding about, is that we're not necessarily getting married as much, but we're co-parenting better. Okay. So that's all that people had asked for. But now when we're talking about our community and we're talking about building our community, we have to think about what the marriage actually does, right? So if you, a young lady, if you want to have a child with somebody and they're not willing to marry you, or they're not willing to commit to at least 18 years, at least. And, I needed my parents way longer than 18 years. So at least 18 years, but to commit so that child has the proper balance in one place. Now, it seems to be working that when the kids are over here and they're over there. Now, we've broken that family up. So what are we doing? But when we break the family up, we also break our money up. Okay. America is built on a two-parent household. Okay. That's why we can't get ahead, because we're trying to do it solo, me included, right? That we're trying to do it solo. So now I'm asking you, How are you parenting? How did you have your kids? How did you determine whether this was the right time to have kids? Or what I think in our community is that we just kind of freeball it, and whoever gets pregnant, and we take care of it from there. We're not really planning. But I think that we need to go into a place where we are planning the babies, we are planning our life, we're putting money away. You could do this with insurance. Again, newamericanlife.hip hop. You could do this with insurance. You can make money through insurance. We have to look at different forms. Now, I don't know how much money you get per kid on welfare or anything like that, or food stamps. I don't know what you get, but let's just say, with a couple kids, you get $600-700 in food stamps a month. And then they tell you that, if you go to work, you can't make this money. I don't know. So my thing is, we start going into a limited mentality. And that's what we're going to talk about next. So we've talked about our health. We've talked about marriage and relationships and what we should be doing. And we'll deep dive into this. I just want to touch the base with you. And so now we're going to talk about our money, right? And now our mentality. What is our mentality if we're willing to say, I'll take the disability? Now, it's great to have a check that that's coming every month. I love it. But it's also great to have a check with the numbers that you want on it coming every month too. Not just what somebody is giving you enough money to live. Okay? Enough money to survive. We have to move past survival. Okay? We have to move past survival and start talking about flourishing, start talking about thriving, start talking about living and exploring the world, and then putting those seeds into our kids, because that is what is going to make them want to go to school and to learn, is because they're going to want to make money. So if I don't have to leave the projects, let's say, if I don't have to leave the projects, okay, then what are we going to do? Okay, so we're just getting started today here on Millennium News 24. And I just got the word that we're half an hour today. We'll be an hour again next week. But I just wanted to touch base. But let me just say that what we're talking about is now our mentality. So before we go today, I want you to think about what is the mentality that we need to focus on. What is the mentality that we're putting in our minds, that we're putting in our children's mind? That's the most important part. What is the mentality? So we're going to close out today, and I'm going to see you on Wednesday at 1:00 for the New American Perspective, for the G-Check, and we'll be G-Checking again, and we'll be back next Sunday on the group to talk about more of the Great Urban Reset. Thank you, Millennium News 24, and I'll see you on Wednesday at 1:00.